situations, times, settings, locations with various characters and plots, it becomes necessary to create change in organizations. Goals and objectives of organizations demand that change be implemented in a manner that promotes positive interactions, fomenting a positive, productive environment. Impactful change needs to be foundational, so that organizations may meet agreed-upon goals and meet unexpected but introduced challenges. All sorts of organizations may need to experience foundational change. This sort of needed change may occur within a family, a team, a unit, a division, a platoon, or even a club. The context may change, but foundational truths need to be established and are necessary for a team looking to accomplish positive goals for meaningful and impactful results. Creating change in organizations requires a shared vision and then a shared plan accepted and agreed upon by all. Because buy-in is crucial, the people must know and also adhere to and hope for the plan. According to Elsie Tung, people are more inspired to change if the people who lead them are a part of and can give them hope and inspiration. People want leadership, drive, and meaningful purpose guiding actions and resolute purpose. All participants, regardless of the context or profession, need to feel as though they are participating and their voice is a voice. The ideas and input they have are not only heard, but are actually shared with others. Elsie Tung writes that one should use an intentional, structured approach to determine where they are now, where they want to be in the future, and how do they want to bridge that gap between the current state and the future state. The plan that is developed by stakeholders is the guide for getting through the daily actions and schedule of the organization. Quoted by the author William Gibson, "The future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed." He surmises that this applies to change in organizations. Often the bright spots found in the organization can be the best and wisest way to improve the organization itself. Leaders are found in the process, advocates for why change is needed. When creating the plan and envisioning the future state of the organization, it is vital that steps are taken in precise and prudent ways. Elsie Tung identifies 3 critical errors, and they are having too big of a picture, being too numbers-driven, and being too complicated. Change is difficult, and it requires precise and achievable steps so that all types of individuals throughout the organization are cognizant of the steps that need to be taken. Additionally, often visions of the future are too numbers-driven, especially in schools. Stating a SMART goal is helpful and quite useful. However, the SMART goal needs to be luring and provide an answer as to why individuals in the organization need to accomplish that specific SMART goal. Finally, perhaps most importantly, plans need to be understood. Visions that are difficult to understand because they are complicated may result in a misunderstanding and may complicate how they are acted upon. In an ironic twist, opposition to plans are needed, wanted, and should be encouraged. This opposition provides a targeted and exact counter to the vision. In literary terms, an antagonist in reaching the group-stated MacGuffin, or the goal or intended prize of the protagonist. The sharing of ideas promotes a positive interaction. Ideas should always be shared openly and with the focus upon the mission statement of the organization. Voices shared will promote dialogue, and individuals will become more engaged in the change if they have a voice in the change. It is important that leaders are identified in this process and that individuals can be engaged to implement the necessary changes. The following handout will assist educators, administrators, and agents of change as they ready their organization for change. One must identify and speak to the pressure implicating the necessary change. Gaps between actual and desired future states are to be shared and identified. It is absolutely necessary that positive expectations for change are believable and credible. In addition, this handout identifies ways and strategies to overcome resistance to change. Most importantly and foundationally, leaders and colleagues need to provide empathy and support as change is difficult for all participants. Communication needs to be open and equitable. Positive relationships of dialogue need to be established and constantly maintained. All members need to provide voice, Leaders need to provide avenues and mediums for individuals to voice and share in the planning and decision-making. One question that has been posed in the education world is how educators are able to identify whether or not technology is being integrated within the classroom in an effective way. An example of seamless integration provided by Wally Fuller in 2012 looks like this. Students enter and retrieve wireless laptops from the mobile cart. The teacher has a notebook computer displayed through a ceiling-mounted projector. A presentation lecture begins with a movie introducing students to the background information of a compare and contrast writing lesson. At the end of the movie, students open their inspiration application to begin taking notes. Lecture points are highlighted in Keynote and discussed as students create their mind maps. At the end of the presentation, students save their inspiration files to their server folders so they can pull them up later in the computer lab or the next day in class. The inspiration file then is transferred into a word processor outline that students will use to guide their writing assignment. While this may be ideal, many schools and programs may not be at this level currently. Fuller explains that resources, training, and support must all be in place and implemented in order for seamless technology integration to occur. When technology is in place, according to Fuller, those observing classrooms should find students doing the following things within a technology-integrated class. Students who are word processing stories and creating illustrations directly on the computer. Each student should have a devoted folder on a desktop. Graphs posted around the classroom should be computer-generated. And outside of the classroom, administrators should hear that families are able to access teachers through websites or school information systems. In order to develop classrooms that are seamlessly integrated with technology, teachers must be well-trained and fully committed to taking advantage of the technology and be aware that each resource is being used to improve the quality and effectiveness of education. Information and communication technology can create very important contributions to the public. There have been some community outreach programs started by organizations and groups in order to help communities that are disadvantaged. Some of the communities need help from outside sources in order to purchase IT equipment. The help comes from governmental, non-governmental, volunteer agencies, and sometimes institutions of higher education. These projects can only last as long as the equipment lasts. Additional funds are needed if the equipment needs to be repaired or replaced. Computers, laptops, and mobile devices usually last longer because they take a lower amount of energy to maintain. These devices would be a good choice for lower-income communities. One issue of community outreach has also been the geographic location. If a community outreach program can run jointly with a local university, the program should be held close to the university's campus. An outreach program can help to create a positive image of the university and help international students. Another issue is the motivation of the participants in a program. In order to support the program, functions have to be equally distributed. Parents and other members of the community should be involved also. Communities with more funding will be able to offer more resources and IT equipment. Internet kiosks can be set up in order to deliver IT services to poor or rural areas in the community. These kiosks run a low risk of needing to be maintained because of the way they are made. This also leaves less chance for them to be destroyed by vandalism. Rural internet kiosks have been found in countries of sub-Saharan Africa. These kiosks are 100% solar-powered with 3 computer terminals and wireless internet. They can provide e-agriculture, e-commerce, e-health, e-government, e-banking, and e-learning. They also provide employment opportunities and ways for developing countries to exchange information. Mobile phones have also been used in schools in Africa as a cheap alternative to computers. Digital technology has become important and pretty widely used in the healthcare industry, especially. In 1979, one particular program was established for New York City school children. It was called the Pediatric Community Outreach Program. Pre- and postdoctoral students provided a clinical experience that would help them become more familiar with the new technology in patient care and increase awareness of New York City students and parents. In 2007, it was suggested that PDAs be incorporated into the pediatric programs. Using paper forms for recording patient information had been the standard, but had many drawbacks. The cost of printing, storage for the paper, transporting large amounts of paper, lost forms or illegible forms, and supplementing information had all been problems. The Department of Pediatric Dentistry purchased and maintained a set of PDAs for the project, and each student also had their own device. The PDAs made data retrieval easier and also ensured security and confidentiality of the data. Some first-year students also used iPod Touches in order to view educational videos and share them with patients. They could also create PowerPoint presentations for the children and staff dealing with oral health education. The children seemed to show more interest after viewing the health images on the PDA. Currently, we are learning new ways to use the technology in order to solve problems in society every day. The integration of technology provides an opportunity for teachers to connect with parents outside of the classroom. The use of technology can bridge the gap between family and school, and many parents prefer to communicate outside of the classroom to avoid any scheduling conflicts that may arise in trying to meet inside of the classroom. In the 21st century, opportunities have increased for technology use, and there are various ways to communicate between school and home. Here we will discuss various trends that are occurring in technology integration. The first is email. Email can be used as a communication tool between parents, where teachers can send out assignments, updates, schedule appointments, and immediately address any concerns regarding a student to the parent. The teacher is now easily accessible to the parent. The second is websites. Websites can provide up-to-date information about the class as a whole. Teachers can post classroom activities, school events, learning activities, and display work by students. The third is mobile apps. Mobile apps are becoming more popular in the classroom setting. Parents are now able to download free apps to their phones. Popular apps allow teachers to communicate daily progress, activities, and send messages to parents. It is a good way to stay on track of assignments given and grades posted. The fourth is social media and networking. Social networking is another way to post what is happening in the classroom for parents to see. Many parents are on some form of social networking site, and teachers can take advantage of that by creating their own classroom page. This is a way to increase the level of parent communication. The final one is live chats. Live chat is a good way to communicate with parents via video conference. This can avoid conflict with scheduling and unnecessary travel. There are also free apps online that can allow collaborative sessions between parents and family. It offers more opportunities for parents to become more involved in the classroom.